This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Palace of Wonders here in the nation's capital, the nation's only fully dedicated home to novelty and variety entertainment. Everything from sword swallowers and fire eaters and glass eaters and, glass harmonica players, ventriloquists, magicians, burlesque dancers. If it's exotic, strange, and unusual, it's here on this stage on the first floor of the Palace of Wonders. But the palace is also home to the strangest and most exotic museum in all the world on the second floor in our galleries. Step into my parlor.
Down here in Shantytown, the buck stops short, just look around. Skin and bones strewn down the block. The suit-clad swells don't take no stock. Down here in Shantytown.
Probably one of our most stunning pieces, one of our favorite attractions for the people who come here to the palace anyway, is the unicorn. This is actually the unicorn that was on the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey show back in the late 80s. People want to know whether it's a real unicorn. Of course, it is a real unicorn because any animal with one horn is a unicorn. They always want to know whether it was born that way, and not quite. One of the other major attractions here in the main case on the second floor of the museum is Fivey, the five-legged dog. If you look at that front left leg, you'll see that he's actually more of a lobster dog because his paw has split, separated into two. But he'd have been billed as a five-legged dog. He had a fairly successful, though fairly brief life in the sideshow business. And when he passed away at a fairly young age, unfortunately, of parvo, the showman realized that the show must go on, had him freeze-dried, and about a year later, had him back out on the road in his own little plastic doghouse. And to add to the effect that, and look, the cat's calling the dog right now as we speak. One of the most famous attractions in case number 2 is Devilman. Devilman's a fairly good example of a gaff. You need to know that term if you're talking sideshow, because there are attractions that are 100% legit, and then there are those that are manufactured for the amusement and education of the crowd, and Devilman is one of those. He does have some real elements to him. There is a real human skeleton in there somewhere. Case number 3, we have more costuming. The miniature vest in the lower left is from the Baron Niku de Barshi. His mother was a bearded lady. His father was a circus strongman, also a rather strange family, if you will. Perhaps the world's strangest family. Right above that and to the right, we have a costume that was handmade by Priscilla Bajano, billed in her day as the Monkey Girl. Not a bearded lady, she was a monkey girl. We have a top coat from Frida Pushnik, who was cartooned by Robert Ripley as the living torso. She had no arms, no legs. Effectively, that top coat covered her entire body. And right above that costume, we have some needlework that she did. She would do all this by mouth or by wedging her tools between her face and her shoulder. A pretty amazing lady by all accounts. The fertility piece is one of the numerous cursed pieces we have here in the Palace of Wonders. It's actually an African tribal piece. It would have been danced, as they say, worn by men, and it would have ensured fertility for the crops, fertility among the women. A certain member of the palace, one time in the process of moving this piece, decided humorously to dance with it. She realized the error of her ways, where in spite of her best efforts, about 2 months later, she turned up pregnant. She now only handles the piece with gloves, so a word to the wise should be sufficient. But that's not all there is to the Palace of Wonders. Come back any evening and take in the grand and glorious exhibitions here on this stage. Come back and see the amazing, the strange, the bizarre, the odd, and the unusual attractions in the strangest museum in the world. I'll see you at the Palace of Wonders.